Hello and welcome to another video. Today I would like to introduce you to a novella that I have released, and it's called the Nexus Vindicator Drift. The actual novella itself is called Drift. This novella is quite short. It is written by me, Simon Phillips, and it's short for a reason. It's not an epic large novella because this novella series is kind of like a slow burn series, and it is short for the opening story is short for a reason. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a bit about the series, and then I'm going to give you a bit about the actual novel itself, because I believe if I try to explain the novel, book one of the series, then you might get a bit confused. So, and then after and in the end, I'll tell you why this book is why this series, I should say, is special to me. So, the Nexus Vindicator is the name of our series, written by me, Simon Phillips again, and it is basically a science fiction slash horror story series, and it takes place in a time where humanity is back out in the stars, like I've done with some other series that I've released, but this time where humanity has progressed technology by themselves. In this series, humans have found technology and used it to their advantage. So basically, the major technology they have found is gates that allow humanity to transverse from one part of the universe to another part of the universe. So there's quite a few gates spotted around the universe that humanity has taken advantage of. We don't know who the builders are. We don't know who put these gates here. But all we know is that humanity has basically commandeered them for themselves. And basically, something in the series basically turns humanity's transport system upside down. So this leaves Earth's most of the colonies, most of the worlds out in the universe stranded. So from one colony that we based our opening story on, they must transverse from this colony back to Earth to find out what's going on. And the spaceship, so basically our series is based on a spaceship, so most of our time will be on a spaceship, and this spaceship is kind of a retrofitted technology spaceship that is allowed to warp through universe. And that's about as much as I can give away without giving away the full plot. But basically, as the story and the series progress, the horror of the story becomes very warped, I would say. It becomes very strange and horrific and confusing, and there's a lot of scary stuff in it, and I'm just hoping that it turns out the way that I want it to be, and I hope you enjoy it. So that's the premise of the series. Something has happened drastically in the universe that prevents the humanity from traversing it as the way they used to. And to survive, they must transit back from one colony that the story opens on back to Earth to find out what's going on. So, as I said, this series, this first novel, is a bit short. It's not short where you wouldn't class it as a novella, but it's short enough that it's just on the borderline of being a short novella. And the reason that is because I said it's a slow burn, and this story opens with our main character, who is on our spaceship, and he has a special gift that I do not want to say, not gift I should say, sorry. He has a special something that allows him to connect to the ship a bit more differently to how other humans would pilot the ship. And I can't give it too much away because the first novel doesn't give it away, the novella doesn't give it away, so that was there as a bit of a spoiler, and I should have done that. But as the ship progresses, as the story unfolds, the ship tries to do its usual military patrol thing around our current colony solar system. And as the ship progresses on it, strange things start to happen with gravity pulls, with communication, and it just opens our story to a world where things are not as expected for the humanity in space. So that's basically all I can really say about it without spoiling the entire series. So the last bit of this I'm going to say is the reason why the Nix Vindicator Drift, the first book, but the series is called Nix Vindicator, and the reason that story is special with me is because when I was writing the Vale of Kings and Gods, when I actually finished the book and I was moving into draft 2, and I was in the process of rewriting bits and getting some proofreading done by myself, I come up with this idea. It was always an idea of a spaceship, kind of what would happen if our crew on a spaceship were kind of they were tasked, given the mission to return to Earth, where the usual transit was gates, but then something happened where they had to start using standard warp. Well, it's not really standard. They had to use warp technology that is not common. And what would happen if things start going wrong and things start to play with your mind, and systems are not behaving correctly, evolution of systems start where it shouldn't be, and stuff like that. So as I said, this story is special to me because it is one of the major stories that I try to work on after my fantasy novel. So I wanted to have a fantasy novel series, and I wanted to have a science fiction novel series. But writing novels right now is very, very difficult. I don't really have the time to sit down and write novels, and I don't have the time to proofread all my novels as well as work on my novellas now. So I actually turned this story into a novella. So like I said, it's very vague, and but it's very special to my heart because it is my second largest story series that I've been working on. And the thing I will say is that it did, so the Nexus Vindicator did start as a novel. So now I'm breaking it down into novellas so I can get it out there for people to read. Like it was I was kind of in the same boat with the Vale of Kings and Gods. I had a story that was in my Vale of Kings and Gods is written and was written, but this one was halfway written, and I was getting close to the end of it, and I was getting in the same situation as how am I going to get this published. So it was a case of basically just going straight into novellas with it. So yeah. So this is Nexus Vindicator. Drift is the first story of the wider series, the Nexus Vindicator. And I hope you do give it a read, and you can download it on Kindle or as EPUB as well, and read it whatever platform you love to read on. And I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.